Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Gatewood, the Communications and Marketing Director at CFRE International. And today I am speaking with Jarrod Williams. Jarrod is the Director of Leadership Giving at the Dayton Performing Arts Alliance. And we are going to have a little chat about the CFRE. So, Jarrod, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you so much, Ashley, for having me. I'm really excited to be here and share a little bit more about my story with CFRE.
Excellent, excellent. And so to get the ball rolling, my first question for you is, in what way do you see the CFRE credential as enhancing a professional fundraiser's credibility with donors and colleagues?
Well, I think that in the profession, I think that there's always a question from, possibly board members, donors, your colleagues in the community, how much, are you a truly skilled professional fundraiser? And I think the CFRE truly displays your abilities, knowledge, and skill sets in the world of fundraising. So it's an absolute honor to not only wear the badge of CFRE, but to really be a part of a community of others that also truly take the profession seriously and truly look at it as empowering that it absolutely is for, and not only the donors that we serve, but for the communities that we serve.
Absolutely, absolutely. As you went through the CFRE process, did you get any advice from other CFREs? And if so, what would you say was the best piece of advice you got?
Yeah, so I want to say that I've probably spent maybe the last 3 to 4 years actually preparing for CFRE. And that is even apart from actually studying. A big part of that was actually networking and meeting and communicating with other CFREs, and really being strategic about taking the bits and pieces of information that they were willing to share with me, anywhere from understanding how questions are asked, anywhere from knowing that the test is a relational based test, understanding why I even wanted to be CFRE. That within itself is a big question. And I think everyone really has to ask about why do they want to kind of take these next steps. So there was just a wide variety of things that I was able to pull away from a lot of other CFREs. But I think the biggest would be, again, just really people asking me, why do I really want to be CFRE? Because my hope for others is that it's not necessarily to, get a better job or increase your salary. And while those are the benefits of it, I think that you taking true ownership of being a true professional in fundraising is what the CFRE is about. And being really donor centered, right? Understanding that,
Yeah.
what you're going to do and the work that you're going to do with any organization you work for will be ethically centered around donors and the change that they can implement and they can be a part of.
hmm hmm Excellent, excellent. And can you talk a little bit about how you prepared for the exam? A lot of people have test anxiety, and I think a lot of people put off becoming a CFRE because they have trepidation about the exam. And then can you also talk a little bit about the study materials that you found to be most useful?
Well, I first will say is that I did not pass CFRE the first time. That is a message that I really, really, truly want to share today. That please do not give up because it just means that you have not passed the test yet. And I really had to be resilient and, getting kind of back on a horse and taking the test again. And the second time was absolutely transformational for me. Um, I was able to really understand where my areas of improvement were and me focusing particularly on those areas and just really understanding what exactly questions are really asking of you. I think a lot of times when we take tests, we fly through them and we're not necessarily mastering the concepts that are truly on the CFRE. So it is a concept relational driven test. So you have to be extremely mindful in every question that you that you have to remember and to understand it is that you're applying the knowledge that you know to the scenarios that are presented. Um, Achieving Excellence in Fundraising is the absolutely essential book that you need, I believe, to pass CFRE, along with the CFRE study guide that is available actually on CFRE and the international website. So those are some core materials. And also, I highly, highly encourage people to enroll in a study group. Contact your local AFP chapter to see what resources are available there. Are there individuals currently getting together, having conversations, reviewing materials, etc.? Because having someone that you can study with and share ideas with is extremely important as you take the test as well, because you're gonna have a lot of aha moments as you're studying, and that normally those moments are normally going to come while dialoguing with someone else. So I highly encourage everyone to find a study group or a study buddy.
That's good advice. And I often hear people say that they enjoy being in a study group or having a study buddy because it's a really good motivator. It's great to have cheerleaders around you. So if you do feel a little bit like, I've had a long day at work, do I really want to study tonight? And people think, well, you know what, I'm in this community, we're all in this together. And it just keeps them moving forward. So that's all excellent advice.
Yeah.
And my last question for you is, now that you've successfully gone through the CFRE process, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Hmm. Anything I would have did differently? I The one thing that I've come to learn that I absolutely value about the CFRE community is that everyone has such a unique story about their journey to CFRE. And these stories wouldn't be as amazing as they are, I think, if anyone was to change anything about it. So I would say absolutely not. I think that everything that happened, to me, to the point, to me taking the test, to failing, and everything else, was all a part of really what it means to be CFRE.
Yeah.
And it's truly about, our journey, and it's truly about representing. My charge now, and something that I really want to dedicate myself to, is inspiring other African American males to become CFRE, because it is not a lot of folks that look like me that's out there that has the CFRE. So I'm just always so grateful for my mentors and study partners, Jacalato, who was core in me passing the test. And, I just cannot thank these individuals enough. And they all have told me now my assignment is helping other people become CFRE.
That's awesome. I love that you're paying it forward. That's great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Jarrod, for speaking with me today. And it's been wonderful to hear about your journey. I think you've got a lot of great takeaways for other people. If they aren't successful in the exam for the first time for whatever reason, dust yourself off, go back, make it happen. You can absolutely achieve this when you put your
Yeah.
mind to it. And your nonlinear story is great because it's not something a lot of people want to talk about. And I think
Mhm.
people have so much fear about the exam
Yeah.
that when they hear from somebody who had your experience and you persevered and now you have these four letters behind your name and you will take that with you forward in your fundraising career, it's awesome to hear.
Yeah. Thank you so much. There's two characteristics that I really think that any great fundraiser should have. And I think that they should be curious and resilient. And, the CFRE, my story, really kind of speaks on both of those things. So that's why I'm so intentional about telling it and just really being transparent and really just pushing people and being hopeful that, one day they can become CFRE.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Jarrod, for sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me, Ashley. I really appreciate you. Thank you.